Hi everyone, in this video we'll cover Tableau calculations, especially parameters and advanced visualizations. Up until now, whatever we have done, it will all be used here. The data filters, the visualization video and the calculated fields video. And now we'll add one more layer to it, and you can consider this the creamy layer, which is the parameters. This will help you make your charts dynamic, and you can use one chart to analyze 4 or 5 things in one go. That is where parameters come in handy, and we'll do a demo where we show how you can use parameters to improve your visualization skills and automate your charts on the get-go. And believe me when I say this, you can automate a lot on Tableau, and you'll see the power of parameters by the end of this video. So first we'll go through the PowerPoint presentation in which we'll see the theory and some definitions around it. So what we'll look into specifically parameters and advanced visualizations, and then I'll show you a demo with hand on the tool so that you can create a parameter on your end and automate some of the visualizations that you can use. Now, parameters in Tableau lets user change data on the fly so that the dashboards are interactive and customizable. In the introductory video, if you know, we mentioned that Tableau is very good in terms of letting the user decide what they want to see. It's interactive. User can select something from one drop down or one cell, and it changes as per their selection. How does this happen? It is through the power of parameters, right? So this is where the parameters will help, and your user will feel that they are creating an insight out of the dashboard that you have created. And believe me, it's one of the best feelings when you figure out a new permutation and combination that gives you the insight on which you can take a decision that helps you and your firm, right? As mentioned, this helps in quickly exploring different scenarios and insight from the same data set. Everybody in a room won't look at the data the same way you will. So to give everybody a lens that they can use to look into, interactive visual dashboard is very useful in Tableau. And we'll move ahead and see how you can make something like that. An example with the screenshot is on your screen. You can see this is a line chart, and on the top right there is a pick a metric option. Don't worry, we'll see it in the demo, but after creating the parameter, you'll be able to dynamically select a metric, and the chart will adjust to that metric, and you can see the trend of that particular metric. So it is powerful, and believe me, once you see it, you'll be like, whatever we have learned up until now, this has been the best one of it. So after we will go through the parameters, we'll touch briefly on advanced visualizations. Now that we are skilled enough, we know the filters, we know the visualizations, we know parameters, we know calculated fields, we know sets, we know how to format a bit as well. I think it's the right time to talk about advanced visualizations. In advanced visualizations, we can consider something like a tree map or a word cloud, or in your current visualizations, adding calculated fields which changes the color due to a certain condition. Example, you have ratings, average ratings of aircraft from 5.6 to let's say 9.7, right? But you only want to color the ones which are below 6. So you can give them a red color showing that these ratings are really poor and we need to improve them. The visualization will clearly pop out, and you will see week over week or month over month which aircrafts are getting a lower value. So that's where this formatting trick will help, and it will come under the topic of advanced visualization. So just to give you a brief definition of it, standard Tableau visualizations are good, but at times your analysis requires an advanced visualization which can justify your analytical standpoint. So whenever you feel there is something that you want to communicate in a complex way, but it should echo in the room so that everybody understands that yes, you are indeed making sense. In that case, advanced visualizations is the key, and you should make an effort and put some efforts in the advanced visualization to make sure that we move ahead. Now that we have discussed in theory what are parameters and how advanced visualizations are important to add to your skill set, now we'll dive into the demo. Before we open Tableau, there are a few slides we should go through. One is the problem statement. that you have to identify trends and patterns in the individual rating components that we have in the analysis. Up until now, you must have seen in the CSV, there are various rating questions asked to the user around food, around cabin, around ground operations, and their overall rating as well. So you have to find some patterns in that analysis and at least make a visualization out of it that gives you a clear indication of what is going on. So that is the problem statement. What are the objectives of this exercise? Objectives are you should get detailed ratings and like the individual components. In this, we'll use a parameter because we have just learned it, so it will be the best time to apply it. And as it's mentioned, we have to use parameters for this. And we'll just touch advanced visualizations, mainly a tree map and the word cloud, because these are the visualizations which I feel one should know in this age right now. And if you know how to do this in Tableau, I think you'll stand apart from the crowd right now in this industry. With that, let's dive into Tableau. If you see on my screen right now, I'm on Tableau. The data set is connected. It's a new sheet. And since we'll be using the parameter exercise, I'll name this sheet parameter. Now, we need to first calculate an overall rating because I see 6 ratings here: cabin staff service, entertainment, food beverages, ground service, seat comfort, and value for money. So we need to create a composite score. To do that, we'll create a calculated field and I'll call this overall rating. Remember, we did discuss how to create calculated fields in the previous videos. If you don't remember how to do it, don't worry, just go back, revise that chapter again, and come back when you feel confident and then continue the journey here. In overall rating, what we'll do is we'll type cabin staff service, and on the left hand side, we'll open a bracket, then we'll add entertainment, then add food beverages, then ground service, seat comfort, and value for money. And I'll close the brackets and I'll divide it by 6 because there are 6 variables and I'm trying to create a composite average of the 6 variables. So a new variable called overall rating has been created. Now it's the time to create a parameter. Now, what to do, how to create a parameter? Well, when we created a calculated field, we didn't know that either, right? But now we do know. So to create a parameter, it's the same process again. Just go on the data pane and you'll see just below create calculated field, there's an option called create parameter. The moment you click that, a pop-up comes up. In that pop-up, the name is create parameter. We'll name it pick a metric. We'll keep the data type as a string. Current value, I actually want to give it a list because we have 6 or I think 7 parameters now, 7 variables now, including the overall rating. So I would like to put them all in a list and then, create a dynamic variable out of it. Don't worry if you feel lost, just follow it step by step and you'll see why we are doing what we are doing. So now I want a list. What values do I want to show in that list? Now this is where it's a bit manual. You will have to type it out. So first one is overall rating. Second one is cabin staff service. Third one is entertainment. Fourth one is food, beverages, then ground service. While I'm typing that, you can see it has to exactly match the variable name, else the parameter once selected, when you drop down and select it, it will fail, it will not pipe in the data. So the name should be exactly the same as the names in your data pane. So do remember that. Next is seat comfort. Final one is value for money. And your parameter is created, right? Now, in this parameter created, I'll go, and by the way, before I move any ahead, parameters are always created at the bottommost of your data pane. So once you create it, it will be at the bottommost and you can see a parameter that's popped up in the bottom left of your screen. You'll go to the right and you'll click on show parameter. The moment you do that, on the right hand side, on the top right corner, you can see our parameter visible with a drop down calling overall rating, cabin staff service, all the variables that we want. Now, let's start making the visualization. So what do we want to check? We want to check the year, the date in columns, 2016 to 2023. Perfect. Now I want to toggle my parameter in the rows column. But wait, I don't have a variable for that. And I cannot put a parameter in the rows column. I can put a parameter alongside, but I cannot put it in the rows. So how do I do that? Well, to add something in the rows, we have to create a calculated field which pipes in the parameter. If you feel lost, don't worry. I was as well when I was learning about it, but I'll do it in front of you to make you sure that it's easy. It's just you have to see it in your own way and learn it at your own pace. So what I'll do is I'll go there, I'll create a calculated field. I'll call it dynamic field, dynamic variable, right? And here we'll put a case when statement. So first I'll write case and I'll call my parameter, pick a metric, and then my when statement starts. So case when overall rating, then overall rating. So whenever I am selecting overall rating from my parameter, I want the overall rating column to be piped in this calculated field. Similarly, when cabin staff service, then cabin staff service. When entertainment, then entertainment. Now you see, this is a bit of a tiring effort. I have to type everything out. So let's be smart about it, right? Why to do so much of typing when you can be smart and escape it? So when I type a next when, I know the next one I have to add is food beverages. I'll not put the quotes behind it. I'll just add food beverages, then remove the square brackets and add the quotations to it. This avoids any spelling mistake, right? And makes it fast as well. So after food beverages, it's ground service, ground service. When seat comfort, seat comfort, then seat comfort. When value for money, this is the last one, I hope. Value for money, then value for money. And we'll end this calculated field, which was quite an effort. And now we are done. Now, what do we said we wanted to do? We wanted to add that dynamic field on the rows, right? So this dynamic variable, I'll drag and put it in the rows. Now I see a line chart has popped up. I'll put this to entire view, add labels to it. Now I like an area chart a bit better, so I'll change this to area. Okay, and sum of this dynamic variable doesn't really make sense. It's a composite variable of rating questions. It should be an average. I'll convert it to average, and I like what I see. And now we'll test our visualization. It is a parameter driven visualization. I'll change this to cabin staff service, and boom, we see a new visualization pop up. I'll change this to entertainment. Bingo, it's working. You have created a dynamic visualization in Tableau. Believe me when I say this, it is used extensively in dashboards for a lot of giant clients because the space is limited on the screen. Every time someone important sees the screen, the real estate is limited. So as much amount of data you can put in there at the mercy of the person digesting the data, the more important your work as a developer is there, right? So do make sure that you learn these parameters really well, because once you unearth the your power as a parameter, it will take you to places, believe me. While I'm saying that, I notice when I go to ground services, the chart is not working. Can you guess why? it was a lot of manual effort to create this. So in this manual effort, you'll see there is some spelling mistake I have done. What's the spelling mistake? The variable is called ground service, not ground services, right? So I'll go to the parameter, I'll edit, and I'll call it ground service, and I'll do an OK, and bingo, now our chart is working. So even if you make a mistake in parameters, you'll get to know it if you toggle across every variable you have added in it. This is one of the reasons I think everyone should QC whatever they are making, and everybody should test every visualization that you make. I'm so glad that this happened right now, right? So in this case, the parameter is working good, and now we can move ahead with a word cloud or a tree map and show you how it is made. I'll add a new tab. In this tab, let's just look at place. So I'll drag the place variable to color, and I'll see that there are so many places. Of course, these are countries, because if you remember in one of the early videos, we made a relationship between place column and the country column. So place is definitely a country, right? So after adding place in the color, I'll drag this by pressing Control and click, and it to size. Now size cannot be a dimension, it has to be a quantitative number so that the size changes as per that. I'll change it to a count, and then I'll drag the place variable again with Control click to label. This on your screen right now is a tree map, and you can see the data we have has a lot of data from place called United Kingdom. Second most data is from a place called United States. If you like this chart, you can stop right here. It's a tree map. But what if you like word cloud even more? Well, it's very easy. You don't need to work hard for it. Go to the marks panel. Here, change this automatic to text, and bingo, you have the word cloud immediately there, right? So whatever is your preference, whatever you like, you can work around, you can search around, and Tableau will make it possible. It just takes a couple of minutes to turn data into a beautiful visualization once you know the power of all the variables or the power of all the features that the Tableau gives you in your hand. And this is just the Tableau public version, which is free to use, free to learn, and you can even make beautiful visualizations to gather insights. I hope you like this demo, but before we go, I'll summarize what we have learned up until now. Up until now, we have covered all the visualizations that we wanted to. In this chapter, we discussed the parameters, how parameters can be used in visualizations, what are advanced visualizations, why do we need it, how to make a word cloud, or when to make a word cloud, because you first need to have a categorical variable where you can place it in colors and place it in size and place it in a way that a word cloud gets generated by turning on the marks panel from automated to text. So this is what we wanted to discuss. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you are learning Tableau along the way. As the next upcoming videos, we will cover dashboarding, which is the most used thing in the industry, and then we'll move on to a case study. Thank you.